So, a group of landscapers rented a house across from a bank, and they pulled off the most insane bank robbery the world had ever seen. Yeah, turns out the grass they were cutting wasn't exactly on the lawn. It all began in 2005 when a bunch of guys rented a house just down the street from Brazil's central bank. But here's the thing, they weren't moving in. Nope, they rented it for something way bigger than just a comfy apartment. Let's just say they were playing Minecraft in real life. And just to stay under the radar, they started a fake landscaping company. Yup, a legit looking sign that said Synthetic Grass Company. Greener grass for you, greener cash for us. They had uniforms, invoices, daily deliveries, the full act. Everyone just assumed it was another boring business. Nobody questioned the trucks, the dirt, the workers. And while the neighbors thought they were planting fake lawns, these guys were quietly preparing something that would shock the entire country. Beneath that fake office, something incredible was happening. They were carving out a tunnel 260 feet long, complete with lighting, ventilation, wooden supports, and a secret exit that led directly under the bank's vault. Because you know, robbing a bank in style requires proper ventilation. They really built the London Underground for money. So for 3 months, the crew worked day and night, quietly removing 3 tons of soil every day. They just mixed it into garden waste, loaded it into trucks, and waved goodbye. Nobody, not even the neighbors, had a clue. Honestly, if Fake It Till You Make It had a crime version, this was it. By August 2005, the tunnel was ready. It stretched from the fake business right beneath the bank's concrete floor. Now, the vault floor wasn't made of cardboard. Nope, reinforced concrete. They spent 2 full days cutting through it with drills and blowtorches. And when they finally broke through, boom! A pile of cash. 50 real notes stacked like bricks. In total, around 160 million bucks in Brazilian reals. That's 3.5 tons of cash. Literally. And here's the craziest part. All of it already had been circulated for inspections, so there were no recorded serial numbers, completely untraceable, which meant if you pulled this off perfectly, no one could ever track it. Genius, right? If you can take a second to like and subscribe, it would mean a lot. It's free and you'll become a bear today. Now, timing was everything. They knew the bank would be empty over the weekend and the alarms were scheduled for maintenance. Perfect window. So they loaded the cash in sacks, hauled it through the tunnel and vanished into the night. And guess what? They didn't even need pew-pews. So no alarm, no drama. It was all quiet, methodical and shockingly professional. Then Monday arrived. Employees showed up, opened the vault and went, why is half the country's cash missing? Well, the only thing left behind was a perfectly square hole in the floor and a whole lot of embarrassment. Authorities called it one of the biggest bank robberies in world history. And naturally, the first thing everyone wanted to know was how did something this massive even happen? So forensic teams swarmed the vault, dusted for clues, measuring every inch, and everyone was asking the same question. How on earth did nobody notice a 260-foot tunnel being dug right under the city? Turns out they did everything perfectly. They used special tools to avoid noise, wooden frames to prevent collapse, and timed shifts, so neighbors never suspected a thing. Honestly, at this point, they deserve an engineering award, or at least a gold star for criminal ingenuity. So, the whole of Brazil was left staring at one question. Who was the mastermind behind this heist? And while the country was buzzing The police were in absolute chaos. The federal police quickly launched a nationwide manhunt. Chief Antonio even flew all the way from Brasilia to take charge, and the first clue he found was a prepaid phone card. Yeah, the most Brazilian oops imaginable. The barcode was scratched off, but forensics teams still tracked the number and found out who had used it. That one tiny clue cracked the case open. After wiretaps, surveillance, and weeks of undercover work, the police finally got their first break. They overheard a man telling his wife to buy 2 kilos of rubber bands, because when you're sitting on millions of cash, you can't just leave it loose. Investigators traced phone calls and watched properties connected to the suspects. In one sting operation, they camped in a bar across from a suspect's house, pretending to just have a drink. Then 2 men stepped out to have lunch, and boom, the police swooped in. Inside the house, they found bags of cash stacked against the wall. 5 people were arrested on the spot. 12.2 million reals recovered. And one guy tried to hop the fence and got stuck midair, because, of course, that's how criminals get caught in real life. Over the next few months, the investigation snowballed. Police tracked suspects across Brazil, in bars, on beaches, even their homes. In total, 133 people were charged, and 119 were convicted in the first round of trials. And the rest? Well, they were acquitted or appealed. The sentences went up to 50 years in prison, but many were later reduced because of Brazil's constantly changing laws. Ah, yes. Commit one of the biggest heists in history and still get out early. Classic. One of the key suspects, Luis, was believed to be among the masterminds. Another, Aldemir, helped with logistics, getting trucks, materials, and workers. But here's the twist. A lot of them didn't enjoy their riches for long. By 2010, authorities had recovered only about 35% of the money. The rest vanished, probably into luxury cars, land, and a few too many new business ventures. One suspect literally got caught because he kept depositing $10,000 every single day into the very same bank he had robbed. He just walked in, used the system he'd exploited, and casually said, "Don't mind me." The police chief later commented that the gang was simply too greedy and far too impatient. They were buying properties for double their real value just to move the cash faster. Imagine spending $200,000 for something worth $100,000. That's not money laundering, that's just bad shopping. And that's how the case became legendary. It even inspired a 2022 Netflix documentary and a Brazilian feature film. Crazy, right?